How's it going, everybody? It's Rob here with GorillaPress, and my guest here today is newly signed Impact Knockout, Masha Slamovich.
How are you doing, Rob?
It's fantastic to see you again. It's been quite a year. I'm doing great, actually. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. As you said, it's been quite a year, so happy so far.
Yes. Let's start with the year in hindsight, right? So you started out in Japan, came back here, hit the ground running, right? We decided to work together, try to get you into a couple key promotions, and we dropped Operation Masha video, produced by myself. Now that hit, and everybody was like, who is this? What's going on, right? So like, how did you receive that on like, how did your fans receive that video? Like, were they anticipating to see you? Did you get that feeling from that?
Well, I think that video came at a very good time because there wasn't such a huge fan base like I have now. You know, I had spent an entire year in Japan, so the audience in America only saw so much of me on Twitter. And of course, this being the pandemic, that of course made things more difficult. So Operation Masha was a very good segue to remind the fans in America of who exactly I am and kind of promote my return back to the United States.
Okay, so when that video dropped, your first appearance on a major, I guess, not even like major pay-per-view, but you did a few shows prior to your appearance in Mission Pro, and that kind of like propelled you in the region of like Texas, and you started appearing everywhere, and then your year just was filled weekend after weekend after weekend with appearances. So what was that like journey like, and did you foresee anything like coming from that skyrocket, I guess?
Well, I was very happy to be so well received by the American indie scene. My first weekend back from Japan in the United States, I believe I already had 5 bookings, one of them being GCW's Fight Forever. And that carried on, like you said, every weekend after weekend after weekend, which, you know, I wasn't really quite sure if that would be the case coming back from Japan after such a long absence, but I was very happy to see that indeed played out how it did and continues to happen till this day.
Now, I remember saying to you in our post our initial interview a little bit over a year ago, October 31st, which we'll get back to that date in specific. I was like, oh, well, you'll come back here, do this, that, probably in like February. You were like, I have no intentions of coming back to the United States. I'm working here, I'm comfortable here, and I'm working. Unless I have bookings every weekend, then I may not be coming back for the foreseeable future. And boom, you came back, every weekend was filled. You make it to Mission Pro Wrestling, NWA, AEW, Impact, like all of the big promotions in less than 6 months, like 8 months since your return. How did that lead? Like, I know it was kind of like an overwhelming feeling taking that ride, and that night that you appeared on Impact Knockouts Knockdown, and they offered you the contract. You must have been blown away. Like, the emotion was, you know, it was like visible. Like, I'll show an still image of like that moment.
Well, like you said, of course, it was a very overwhelming moment. Like you said, I wasn't really expecting to come back and be on such a schedule from Japan. I didn't plan to leave because I thoroughly enjoyed working there, and leaving, that did not occur by choice, but it turned out to be a happy outcome because, like you said, appearances on NWA, AEW, and then one of my favorite matches of last year against Deanna at the Knockouts Knockdown. And even if I hadn't gotten signed, I was so proud of the match. I would have been happy if that's where the story had ended. But, you know, when Gail came out and offered me the contract, that was just the cherry on top. That was a testament of all of the hard work that I put in the year before and all of the years prior.
Well, I can attest to that also, because it's one of the reasons why I decided to like begin working with you. Because when I had done the interview with you when you were in Japan, I saw your work ethic was like wake up, run, train, wake up, run, eat, train, train some more, work out, train again, go to bed, wake up, routine, same thing, day in, day out, like legit all day, a master of your craft. So that being said, just fast forward to the present. You're undefeated in Impact now. I think your record is currently 6-0. Okay. And that being the case, what sense of confidence does that give you moving forward in like such little time already? Like,
well, I wouldn't have been able to get to this point without confidence. You know, confidence is something that you have to have in yourself, in your work, and everything that you do. When I step into that ring, I'm fully confident of my abilities, no matter who you put against me. So I'm looking forward to working my way through the Impact roster, picking them apart one by one.
Yeah, I see that being the case. I definitely see that being the case. Moving forward, so now being signed to like Impact, which was one of your goals as a 4-year-old kid, like aspiring to be a professional wrestler and then growing to know you wanted to do that and work for a TV company. Now that you've done that, right? Like, what's next for you? Like, that's gotta be quite the accomplishment. Like, your parents gotta be proud, your grandparents. Like, tell us what that's like for you, like emotionally.
Well, of course, everybody, including myself, is very proud. And, you know, I'm a believer that hard work brings results. So like I said, this is a testament to all of the hard work and dedication that I've put into this sport. And being signed, working the schedule that I have, it brings me joy. It brings, you know, pride to my family doing what I do. And I can't even tell you what the future holds, because who knows, we might be sitting here a year from now and I'll have done things that I can't even imagine. I mean, for example, we can discuss my upcoming schedule in April, and that alone, those matches are happening in the span of 2 weeks, not even 6 months, not even a year. So who am I to say where I'm going to be 6 months from now, 9 months from now, a year from now?
I was going to segue into your schedule because you've already said, like, you've been very busy. Your parents are very proud, obviously, of how you've returned from Japan, was incessantly working, like week in, week out, and not in the ring. You're training, Gracie School of Jiu-Jitsu, coaching at Fallout Shelter in New York. It's an amazing work ethic that you have. So that being said, your schedule for April is as follows, and not in this order either. Bloodsport 8 against Janai Kai, Zicky Dice, Trouble in Paradise versus a bear. Of all things, Masha Slamovich versus a bear. She's gonna wrestle a bear in a ring for Zicky Dice's Trouble in Paradise. And you can
I hope Zicky is going to pay PETA or whoever's gonna complain about whatever takes place in that match. Hopefully he has a good budget.
No real bears were harmed in the making of that professional wrestling show.
I promise it's going to be unbearable.
Pun. GCW Mission Pro Wrestling against Lindsay Snow. Like, that is in itself a match over a year in the making. Like, you were supposed to face her last year. She had her injury, or well, that was in the talks. She had her injury. Now she's returning, and in a long anticipated matchup, you finally get it on a large scale as part of the GCW Collective's Mission Pro Wrestling Showcase. which is amazing. They're making history already.
Well, I certainly hope Lindsay has been taking this time off that she's had due to her injury and been studying what I've been doing on Impact every week. That airs 8 p.m. Thursdays on Access TV, actually. So if she's smart, she'll have been watching and preparing for next week.
Yeah, definitely. She should have been watching you if she hasn't, and don't just watch the more recent stuff of Masha Slamovich. Watch her year-in return and then some. No Peace Underground with Lindsay Snow against Sawyer and Kylan King. That's gonna be even wilder because you guys have to coexist in the same ring the day before, and that's a story in and of itself. GCW against Chris Dickinson. Following night against Busick. West Coast Pro against Malenko. ETV with Akira against the Kirks in a tag team matchup. Like off the heels of your Pit Fighter 8 appearance with him. Like that was a match that's bananas. I'm not even gonna go into that. April 1st, Dallas, Texas, Fairmont Hotel. Impact has 2 shows, back-to-back shows, starting at 9 p.m. They have a 1984 style show matchup, and immediately following that, they have the IPWF show. That's going to be something to talk about because Impact is putting on a back-to-back showcase during the weekend. It's going to be impactful, to say the least. Also, following that, April 23rd, Impact Rebellion. Prestige here. This is something I don't want to skip over. May 29th, you have a matchup against Yamashita. Tell me about that one. How did that one come up? Because I know you're excited about that. Personally, I know you're excited about that one.
Well, as you know, my style is heavily based from the Japanese Joshi and, mix of the men's style as well. So I haven't wrestled in Japan or with anybody from Japan in quite some time due to the coronavirus, unfortunately. So when Miyu comes to the States, who do you call? And also on April 1st, we're going to be having the second Dresselmania, and that will be a charity auction where we're going to be auctioning off dresses, ball gowns, etc., and all of the profits are going to be going to NAMI.org. So everybody check that out while you'll be at WrestleCon on April 1st.
Okay, and what time is that?
I believe that is going to be at 2 or 3 p.m. It's at 2 p.m.
Okay, 2 p.m. And be sure to donate. Also, immediately after that, later on that evening, be sure to check out Impact at 9 p.m. WrestleCon. They've got the back-to-back shows. It's probably going to be a hell of a showdown. I don't even know what the card is, but Impact has probably got a statement to make that weekend, that's for sure. Moving forward, what do you think is next for you at Impact? And to be honest with you, what is your end goal?
Well, like we went over earlier in this interview, if you've been watching Impact, I'm actually 7-0, I believe. So I don't see that changing. I only see the numbers going up, up, up. So I hope everybody in the Impact roster is ready, because one by one, they're going to fall, and I'm just going to keep climbing higher and higher.
All right. Well, there you have it. Be sure to check out Masha Slamovich, the Rush of Dynamite, live on Impact Thursdays, 8 p.m. On Access Television. Thanks for watching. This has been our time. I'm Rob from GorillaPress. This is Impact Knockout, Masha Slamovich. Enjoy your day. Be sure to click the link, subscribe, and like this video.